I didn't want to make my first YouTube video this early. I kind of want to wait until the end of the year, get my plans ready, do what I was going to do, and then start releasing content. But I saw this movie, and I just had to make a video about it. So Joker 2, Folie, Deux is something and a lot of other things. So going into this film, I had pretty much really enjoyed the first Joker made by Todd Phillips. Even though I kind of disliked the fact that he did copy Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy, to me I thought that was a nice little love letter to Martin Scorsese, as well as giving us a Joker movie. So when it was shortly announced after the release that a Joker 2 could potentially happen, and then it was confirmed, I was optimistic, yet kind of nervous and scared about it all. Now with it out, now with me seeing it, so let's get into the categories in which I rate movies. First of all, let's talk about the acting. Acting in the first one was phenomenal. Joaquin Phoenix won an Oscar, for God's sakes, for this film. This one is a completely different beast, right? New characters, Harley Quinn's in it with Lady Gaga playing it. And I truly felt like maybe we could have some more magic, because Joker was really built upon the performances of the actors. And although Joaquin Phoenix is still good as the Joker, he's not as good as the first one. And it's not even close. The first one was such an interesting mix of Arthur Fleck as well as building up to the Joker. And this was supposed to be all Joker. Like, we're not supposed to get much Arthur Fleck. We're supposed to get more Joker. And we got a weird mix, right? Which is fine. But Joaquin Phoenix definitely got his bag and definitely just said, you know what? I'm going to phone it in, right? I just went through hell and back with Beau is Afraid, so I'm not going to try that hard. And it definitely feels like he didn't fully immerse himself in the acting parts as I kind of would like to. But don't worry, it's not all bad. There are a lot of good things about this film. One of them being Brendan Gleeson as the guard in Arkham. He's hateable, enjoyable, and you can kind of relate to him. You kind of can't relate to him. So it gives a more complex performance here than most characters. I think the one that surprised me the most of not being that great was Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Now, going into this film, I knew it was going to be a different take on Harley Quinn, and I was very interested in how it was going to be portrayed. I didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit. The beginning was interesting, and then something happens, and then you kind of go, why'd they do that? So with that all being said, I will say there wasn't any horrible performances. Everything was fairly good, fairly okay. Like, I don't hate anyone's performances. They all did what they needed to do in the way they wanted to do it. So I have to give it half a star out of 1 within this category. Now let's talk about the visuals. Visually, this film has everything going for it. The set design is absolutely beautiful, especially when they go to the musical sequences. The courtroom's beautifully chaotic, but also has this sense of Arkham grunge to it, but also whimsical. And then Arkham looks disgusting and gross and dark and dingy and not some place you'd want to be at. The shots are absolutely stunning. The lighting is beautiful. The color grading, like everything about this film visually is just so good. It is definitely a film in which I can watch and just look at on mute and maybe put it on the background. It has some beautiful shots that you just are in awe of. Like I said, musical shots, beautiful as they should be. Set designs, beautiful as they should be. This is the easiest thing to kind of talk about when it comes to talking about good about this film. So, of course, I'm going to give it a full star out of 1 within this category. Now, let's talk about score/mix. So, they bring back the Joker theme, which was great. It was a disgustingly grungy, gross, take on a character's theme that felt very warranted for the character that was being portrayed as. And they sneak it in all the time throughout this film, and I enjoyed it. There are some scenes where it kind of plays in the background and you're wondering, oh, are we going to get, full on Joker? And then you kind of don't. But this film was really marketed. It was really touted, as this musical, right? Which I'll be the first one to say that I was okay with it, right? I was like, fine, you know what? If that's what Todd Phillips wants to do, Todd Phillips is going to do it, right? It is what it is. We're going to just do it. And going into it, I was like, you know what? If there's anything this film needs to really do well, it's the musical numbers. And it's not good. Gaga is great, right? Performing-wise, she's absolutely amazing, as she should be, being, the singer that she is and the quality she is. Phoenix definitely gives it his all, and you can definitely see it. They're not great, but that's okay. The Joker doesn't need to be this beautifully singing, Joker, right? We don't need that. It would be weird to see this Troy Bolton-esque Joker singing around, right? But the biggest issue I have with the musical part of it is how forgettable it is, right? No joke. I could probably whip out, not great, but I could probably sing you some Wonka songs that came out last year. I haven't seen Wonka since it came out. I have yet to rewatch it, right? And I really enjoyed Wonka. It's been about an hour since I've seen this film. I couldn't run you through more than a line or two of a song. At all. I like to judge, certain films the same ways as I judge other films, right? If it's a musical film, then I'm going to judge it with all the musical films in mind, right? How great are the songs, in my opinion? Are they catchy? They don't have to be rainbows and butterflies, but they have to set the tone, and, it's fine, right? I mean, Sweeney Todd is fairly dark, and I'm not even a Tim Burton fan. I can say it's very well executed on that front. This film just struggles to find out how it wants to be perceived as a musical, how it wants to be done as a musical, and it fails in every way as a musical. So with that being said, with knowing that it is a musical going into it, it failed on that front. I could hear the actors and everything just well, and usually I give some pity points for it, but I can't hear 0 stars out of 1 within this category. Next, let's talk about story. And story, I'm going to be a little mean here, and I apologize to the people I may offend when I say the things I'm about to say. The story is horrible. It's just horrible. I was very interested in how they were going to do a Joker and Harley movie with the Joker kind of origin story built on top of it, right? And they did such a horrible job, it felt like they totally disrespected the first one. Which is crazy because it's made by the same guy, Todd Phillips. And Todd Phillips should not be a filmmaker anymore. I'm sorry. It's that bad. I hated it that bad where I don't want to see another movie from this guy ever again. Todd Phillips here shows who he is as a director, right? The first one, he got panned for copying Taxi Driver, copying the King of Comedy. This film, I was like, okay, he's going unique. He's doing his own thing. No, Todd. If you're going to keep on making movies, to be honest, make movies that are based on other movies and just add IPs to it, right? That seems to be your bread and butter when it comes to more serious movies. This film is just bad when it comes to the story. A bunch of plot points that are dropped, picked up, dropped, right, all the time. I understood its, complete arc of what it was going for, but there's a lot of questions I still have. A lot. That weren't answered, and some of it is just so dumb. And they make a decision, and going into this film, I had heard very mixed reviews, and I don't let reviews impact what I have to think, right? Maybe I'll make a review on Megalopolis, but if you go to my Letterboxd, then you can see what I rated it there, and you can see I'm kind of not with the norm with that movie. But with this movie, I had heard that the ending is just a thing, right? So I was very interested. I was very intrigued of what we were going to get with the ending. Then the ending happened. I scoffed, walked out the theater because the credits started to roll, and then went home, got stuck in traffic, complained to myself on the way home so much that I'm here making my first video on this channel. The characters are just all over the place. The decisions they make about the characters' development is just so stupid. It's bad. It's awful. 0 stars out of 1. Let's just move on to the final category to close out this review. Now let's make a bet. The last category I rate things on, which of course I'll make a video explaining on the 5 pillars of what I think a good film should be based off of. Last one is enjoyment. Can you guess how I felt about this movie based off of what I've said about everything else? Can you guess? I hated it. This is the second movie this year that has almost gotten me to walk out. The only reason why I didn't walk out of this film is because I looked at the clock and went, we probably got 30 minutes left, right? 30 minutes ain't too bad. I'll sit through it and I'll stay and I'll watch. That's usually a big indicator for me that I didn't like this film. I didn't like its direction of what it went through. Like, it was just awful. Didn't like it whatsoever. Besides visually, beautiful film, right? If you're gonna watch it to be visually amazed of how gorgeous this film is. But everything else just falls flat on its face. Now, I saw a lot of people saying, well, it's misunderstood. You don't understand it. It's this and it's that. And I just sit and go, no. It's not misunderstood. It's a film in which Todd Phillips didn't know what to do with. Warner Brothers wanted to get some money, right? They wanted that cash. They wanted that green. And it completely flopped. And it will continue to flop because the reviews are so poor. Right now, I think the Rotten Tomatoes is like 35%, right? On critics and audiences. Both of them are in agreement. We're in a world right now where the audience and the critics agree for once. And it's just that bad. Now, some people are going to love it. I know some people are going to absolutely love it. Some of my favorite creators love it. And I went in going, well, the people who love it are the people who also loved XYZ, and I loved XYZ, so I'll probably like it. And the film kept going on and on and on and on, and I kept saying, this is dumb, this is dumb. Looked at my phone, looked at my watch, and was like, when are we done with this? It is bad. I don't have much more to say other than if you want to go watch it, go watch it. But I would wait for it to come on streaming on Max, probably in T-minus 3 months. I give it, in the enjoyment category, 0 stars out of 1 in this category. Which, if you're keeping a tally at home, which I don't know why you would, because I hopefully have graphics made, because now I have to turn up some graphic making. I gave this whole film a 1.5 star out of 5. To me, is bad. It's bad. It's real bad. So bad. So bad it made me want to make a video about it.